Hi, I'm Justin.
Also, I hate the way my voice sounds, so if you can do whatever Photoshop does to voices, make me sound awesome.
And this is my lovely friend,
The beauty in the eyes of the beholder, and it's just about getting into the seat of being the beholder.
Hayley.
I don't think you have to be particularly perceptive. I just think you have to look up.
This podcast is mostly just her telling me stories.
If you expose yourself to the possibility that this might be really awkward, there can be something just really cool on the other side of it.
She thinks that her life and way of looking at things are
Oh, I was kind of waiting on you. I thought you were getting your stuff ready. You're waiting on me?
pretty normal.
You got to edit out all the misinformation about the Amish.
Maybe you can relate.
I would like a chance to re-sing the Amish Paradise.
If you want lighthearted stories
All right, you want to talk about goats?
and stream of consciousness,
I just woke up and needed some friends, and so I bought them.
then you're gonna like the Sunny Side Up podcast.
Sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up.
So, if you're at all like me, you may feel that you're living in a world that can be a bit overwhelming and confusing at times. I'm also a huge fan of podcasts, documentaries, docudramas, stories, and of just information in general. Between all of that and the social media and news, sometimes our brains can feel like they're on overload. Hayley and I hope that this podcast can be something of an antidote to all of that. Like little jello shots of joy and distraction. None of it is too serious or really too informative. Mostly it's just two friends who have conversational chemistry talking about whatever enters the minds of relatively ADHD people. We hope you enjoy.
That was a terrible day. Do you like snow skiing?
I've done it once. I was really bad at it. I was awful.
All right. Thank you very much. People love it, and they
Yeah.
spend thousands, oodles and oodles of dollars to have this experience, right?
Yeah.
And I was never passionate about it, but I wasn't against it. And I call him my dad, but he was my stepdad, right? So not the one that was the conspiracy theorist, but the one who actually raised me.
Yeah.
Is passionate about snow skiing.
Okay.
You're only going to have conversations about snow skiing and wine in his presence. That's it. Recently turned him on to the Beatles, so perhaps there's a third thing he'll talk about. But it's snow skiing. It is a passion. It is deep. So had to go to Denver.
I love that you recently turned him on to the Beatles. I mean, I know they're kind of a new pop group that's just really hitting the scene here. But I mean, I feel like I'm one of those people. I'm a late adopter. I'm
introduce it to
they
him.
just landed on the moon? That's amazing. Yeah, I love it.
No, there's a group that tours called Rain, and it's like you buy tickets to it, and you go, and these four guys stand up there and perform all the Beatles music in
it's like
costume.
a tribute band.
Yeah. Tribute band, that's the word I was going for. And
Yeah.
I'd gotten them tickets at Christmas to go see it, and that was the experience. So now that's his thing, and he's just deep diving into it. I'm like, welcome.
Maybe it doesn't like the Beatles. He likes Rain, the tribute band.
That would feel better because they're still alive.
Right?
Well, as are some of the Beatles, but
Yeah. Did you just get rid of who is this? Is it
McCart-
George McCartney?
yeah.
Yeah. Or is it it's McCartney? Yeah, I think he's him that's alive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just killed off
Ringo.
George. No, is Ringo alive?
Is
This is that game of is this person
I
dead
think
or alive?
Ringo and Paul are the ones that are still living.
Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul McCartney. Yeah.
Sure. Oh no, he's for sure.
He's definitely
yeah.
alive. I mean, as far as we know.
I thought Ringo was.
He might be. Was he the drummer?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a fascinating documentary about George Harrison floating around out there. He had a really interesting life, and some of the better songs, in my opinion. I really like some of his, but nonetheless, lover of snow skiing, right?
Yes.
So my brother had a baby, which was a great excuse for us to fly out there so that my dad could go skiing.
Aww.
So we land
Where'd your brother live?
in Denver.
Oh,
He lives
great
in
places.
Denver. And my other brother at the time was a bartender at a restaurant at the foot of the mountain in Vail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
like one of the wealthiest resorts in
Oh, yeah.
North America. Fascinating ways to spend money in this country. But
Yeah.
we fly into Denver, and the next day my stepdad has me on the top of Vail Mountain, which I don't remember exactly, 14 or 15,000 feet. It was up there. It's
Way up
far
there.
above sea level for a girl who, 24 hours ago, was below sea level in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand the importance of oxygenated blood, giving yourself acclimate to that. I briefly took a tour of the scuba diving world and learned what oxygen sickness can be if you're underwater, but man, it's pretty real on top of a mountain too.
Yeah.
Like, do you frequently go to high elevations? Is that
I don't scuba dive a lot in high elevations, and I've only ever skied once, but I've heard tell of such things.
Okay, so you just need to give your body time to adjust to different elevations. And I didn't. No big deal. Also, into my mid-30s and hadn't done any athletic things since the last time it was necessary, which was about the time I thought I might need scholarships for college, which I didn't need because I wasn't going to play sports and wasn't that good. But at the time, I was playing sports just in case, you know.
Yeah. Back up.
So we get to the top of this mountain, and I am in no way prepared, but they are teaching me how to ski in someone else's clothes, borrowed. So everything in my life that could make me uncomfortable is making me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm in a strange place without enough air in my lungs and body and wearing somebody else's clothes and trying to do a sport that I have no interest in doing otherwise. But it was so important to him and my brother, the one that didn't have the kid, I have another brother out there, to teach me how to do this thing that they love so much.
Yeah.
And I'm worse than the kids that are learning, but I'm putting it together. I'm like, all right. So we do it 2 or 3 times in the chairlift and all of these frightening things. And I get it down good enough that I can say, yes, I can do it.
Yeah.
Pizza and all that other stuff. Right. And I'm like, that's cool. We did it. So chairlift back down the mountain, right?
Yeah.
Because for some reason, they decided to put the training grounds for this at the top of the mountain, which is not exactly the way I would have planned things. But and then they're like, oh, no, you can't take that down the mountain. You have to ski down the mountain. And I was like, that is a long way. It is such a long way. And they were like, yep, let's get started. And I discovered I don't like to go fast.
No. Oh, you like to slow ski.
I like to no ski, but in that moment,
If that's not an option, then slow ski is the next best.
Yes, and
could that be like an Olympic sport?
Slow skiing.
Like she's gone 20 feet in 10 minutes, and people are just like, "Wow!"
How can you continue to move?
Right. You can't ever stop.
That's right.
In this
sport. At the moment that you stop,
you're disqualified.
It's over.
Yeah.
But how slow can you go without
how slow
actually stopping?
Can you go? I like that. It's different than how low you can
go.
The
ratings would just boom.
Oh, amazing. It's like that and my channel on watching paint dry are going to be
big ratings.
big ratings.
So we head down this mountain, right? And my dad and my brother are ready to get to the bottom so that they can get on the chairlift and come back up and do this fun thing all over again. But I am just trying to ease myself down because I don't like to feel out of control, and also because I'm like, why can't I breathe? Why is my body so tired? I've never been this fatigued in my life. I just want to sit down and catch my breath for a moment. And there was nowhere to sit down. It's on the steep side of a mountain. And if your ski comes off, there's no way to like stop and put your foot back in it because everything's sliding down the mountain the entire time. Like there's nowhere to just like stomp your foot back into place. And
that song, Gravity.
Such gravity.
It's working against you. I mean.
Yup.
Yeah.
As well as the elevation and the snow and the cold and the everything was working against me.
Yeah.
And I'm so slow trying to get down this mountain. And I can do it in small spurts. But again, I've never been this tired in my life. And I was like, I just need to rest for a moment. Where is freaking park bench? And if they had any, they were under the snow because it was fresh powder day, the first one of the season. Everybody else is on this joyful, exuberant high, except for me.
Right.
And I'm just trying to get through it.
Yeah.
And I've had 2 children before, so I know about just getting through a hard moment.
Yeah.
This was different. It was so much worse.
Than having a baby.
For sure.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was just, it felt,
There's a lot of women that are going to be really pissed at you. I just want you to know.
Not the women who've been snow skiing. They're going to be like, yup. And you are just I'm trying to get down this mountain. And here, all of a sudden, stranger approaches. And he's like, oh, it's cool. And I think he was like, I teach skiing. Let me give you some pointers. And I was like, I understand how it's done. I'm physically incapable because I am this tired. But he continues to give me instructions. And so I show him that I can do it. He's like, yeah, good. And then he feels really rewarded that he has shown me how to do it. And my stepdad is fuming on the sidelines because he taught me how to ski. Like, that's what this day was all about.
Yeah.
He wanted the glory of having taught someone how to ski successfully.
Right.
And I don't care who taught me. I just want a park bench.
Yeah.
And this guy is like trying to baby step me down. I'm like, yeah, good for you. But I'm not making very much progress. But he feels too guilty about just like leaving me.
Leaving you, yeah.
It's a problem with talking to a stranger is there's never an appropriate time to just depart and go back to minding your own business, right? He's
now
invested.
You're bonded, yeah.
That's right. And I was like, well, I belong to you now.
Right.
Help me.
My life is in your hands.
So much.
Yeah.
And so he was like, here, and he was ready to move on also.
Yeah.
But he felt guilty about leaving me behind, which, fun fact, around this point, my stepdad and brother did not feel that way. They were like,
Sayonara, I hope you make it down.
They're like, well, she's found somebody new, let's go on.
Right.
And so this guy's like, hey, just like lean on to me and I'll just kind of taxi you. And I was like, are you? Yes.
Yeah. Desperate times.
No definition of personal space.
No.
I hitched myself to his back like a baby turtle.
Yes.
And here we go down this mountain.
Yeah.
And we go a little ways and then he was like, whew, okay, that was a lot. But he stopped for a moment and I was like, we're not at the bottom yet. And he was like trying to encourage me to try again.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you stop now, I will curl up under the pine tree
I'm
and
literally
I will
gonna die
die.
here. Yeah.
Like I have no will to go on.
This
and
is
for
like the moment
some reason,
Titanic where you're slipping under the water.
Yeah.
And the girl's not doing anything about it.
Yes. He had every right to just break my frozen arms off the side of that door and drop me into the abyss, and he wouldn't. He didn't leave me there.
Good guy.
Such a good guy. I had his name for a little while, and I've already forgotten it. How do I forget the names of the heroes? But he probably prefers it that way. Anonymous hero on the mountainside, I thank you.
Yeah.
I made him taxi me some more. I was like, like baby spider monkey, right back over his shoulder.
Right.
And I'm not a small person, right?
You're not big, though.
But if you're carrying me down the side of a snowy mountain, I was $150,
okay.
I would say, at least.
Well, then plus your gear.
And at the top of a mountain.
With no air.
Oh, you know what? That might have helped. At the top of the mountain, I might have been like 145 or something.
Because of gravity?
Yeah.
Gravity.
Like the elevation, the higher you are, the less things weigh. And as you get closer.
I don't think it's 5 pounds, though. I'm pretty sure. No, I don't think it's
maybe.
5 pounds.
Okay.
No, yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry.
But that's why we're heavier.
That could be a great weight loss program.
That's why we're heavier in Mississippi, the fattest state in the union.
Yeah.
It's because
you're so low.
We're at such
it's all about elevation,
low altitude, and that's why we're all so much heavier. Are at the top
Denver,
of the mountains. Mm-hmm.
It's not because they're skinnier. It's
because they eat right and are much more active. They're at a higher elevation.
Oh my gosh!
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. And what a brilliant weight loss program is like, come with me
to my weight loss clinic
to Vail
at the top of this 14er.
Right. And I will guarantee you lose 5 pounds immediately.
Yeah, or I will take you to the moon, and you will only weigh like 1/13 of your Earth weight, which we need to fact check that because I'm not sure, but it might be 1/13.
It's less.
Or it might be 1/6.
Because you can jump and sort of float, so we know for sure it's less. That's something, I feel like, who would you pitch that to? Is that more of a Bezos pitch, or is that, what's the guy's name who invented Tesla, the car?
Elon Musk?
Musk. Is that a Musk or is that a Bezos pitch?
1/6 of the gravity. So you weigh 6 times less on the moon than you do on Earth.
Right.
So there's that.
So,
13 was wrong. 6 is correct.
So did you
my weight loss clinic on the moon. Join me.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to weigh 1/6 of what they currently weigh. They want to lose 1/6 of their weight. So extreme elevation change, a higher altitude is probably closer to a reasonable weight loss goal.
And then from then on, they're like, you have to tell them you can only weigh up here.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah. Our scales will, and we don't want any of those fancy body mass scanning kind of scales.
Just get on the scale and get off. Like, please.
Let the numbers
speak for themselves. I like that.
What a
And just to wrap this up, did you end up making it down? Did you end up dying?
But out of sheer guilt and inability to say no, he taxied me all the way to the bottom of the mountain, quite out of breath. I thanked him profusely. I pulled all of the cash out of my pockets, which were not mine, as I remind you, but the cash was mine. Yeah. And I gave it to him and thanked him so much. And to this day, even when I'm not at my parents' house, if the conversation comes up, my stepdad still gets angry and gripes about that story because he was so mad at this stranger who carried me down the mountain after he taught me how to ski.
Oh, my God.
I was like, you left me there to die.
Yeah.
I was going to be the only person to die in the resort town on the side of a highly populated ski trail. Miserable experience.
Yeah.
Finally dragged back to the hotel, and I was texting my husband about what had scratched this one off the list of things to do when the kids move out. Right. And he was like, we are made for each other, because he also had gone snow skiing for the first time with some buddies, and they put him on a snowboard and dropped him off on like a blue run or maybe even a black
diamond.
Yeah. This guy who had never been to the top of a mountain.
Oh, my God.
His tumble was so bad he broke a tooth. So, yeah, and I was like...
You guys just aren't meant to be at the top of mountains.
Oh, we can be at the top of the mountain all day long, but we will be wearing hiking boots.
Right. I'm saying not with ski.
I do wonder if snowboard would have maybe been more my speed. I didn't like the skis that could go any direction. But here's the other thing. I don't think I would have hated it so much if they had let me stop when I said I was tired and just take the lift back down and then go back refreshed the next day and do it. Might have been a great experience.
Yeah.
But the way it all unfolded, it is one of the worst experiences in my mind, and there's some doozies in there.
Yeah.
Hello, lovely friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And it would mean the world if you would tell other people about this podcast and maybe even spam your social media accounts with just how much you're enjoying it. If you are, of course. Also, commenting and rating us on whatever platform you're downloading or streaming from is incredibly helpful to a little startup podcast like this one. On the other hand, if you are dissatisfied with your listening experience, please leave all of that hate on someone else's podcast. Just maybe to confuse them a little bit, right? But most of all, we hope you keep looking up and looking for the sunny side of life.